Good afternoon and welcome to Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha with the midday news. Let's take a look at what's making headlines at this hour. India will not back China's Belt and Road Initiative at SCO Summit, refuses to endorse the program in Qingdao Joint Declaration, says it cannot accept a project that ignores core concerns on sovereignty and territorial integrity. Six terrorists killed in infiltration attempt in Jammu and Kashmir's Keran sector. Patrolling intensified in the state. 18 terrorists killed so far along the line of control after government announced Ramzan ceasefire. Home Ministry meeting today to discuss jihadi content on social networking sites. "13 people killed in rain-related incidents in Kerala in the last 48 hours. Met Department warns of strong winds along the Kerala coast over the next 24 hours. 3 killed by lightning strikes in Odisha. Heat stroke continues in Rajasthan. A day ahead of ceasefire announced by the Taliban, at least 15 killed in Taliban attack in Afghanistan's Kunduz province, over dozens injured. Another explosion and gunfire reported in Jalalabad city. And the main accused in PNB fraud, fugitive jeweler Nirav Modi, has reportedly fled to the UK and is seeking political asylum, say UK media reports quoting Indian and British officials. At the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, which concluded on Sunday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with the heads of other member states, inked a number of agreements in China's Qingdao city. With the prime focus on global terrorism and the need to counter it, SCO leaders signed the Qingdao Declaration and agreements on security, economic cooperation and people-to-people exchanges. India, however, did not sign China's One Belt, One Road initiative in the joint declaration.
Member nations of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization called for a unified global counter-terrorism front to fight terrorism, separatism and extremism. Without naming any terror group, the Qingdao Declaration said the member states strongly condemn all forms of terrorism and consider it necessary to make efforts to promote the creation of a unified global counter-terrorism front with a central coordinating role of the UN on the basis of international law without politicization or double standards.
To strengthen the foundation for shared peace and security, we need to actively implement the 2019 to 2021 Program of Cooperation for combating terrorism, separatism and extremism, continue to conduct the peace mission and other joint counter-terrorism exercises, and enhance cooperation on defense security, law enforcement security, and information security. We need to give full play to the role of the SCO Afghanistan Contact Group to facilitate peace and reconstruction in Afghanistan.
India, however, refused to support China's One Belt, One Road project at the summit. The joint declaration issued at the end of the two-day summit featured names of all member nations except India endorsing China's OBOR project. Prime Minister Modi, in his address at SCO, said that any mega connectivity project must respect sovereignty and territorial integrity of countries.
I don't think that India's position is something that is not known to others. So I really don't see India's position being coming as a surprise to anybody, because this is not the first time India has articulated it. The Prime Minister has articulated it earlier, and it is a well-known position.
The leaders also adopted a joint appeal to the youth, calling them not to get influenced by extremist ideologies.
A joint appeal by the heads of SCO member states for prevention of radicalization of youth, program of cooperation in combating terrorism, separatism and extremism for the years 2019 to 21, MOU within SCO in the field of MSMEs, joint statement by SCO members on trade facilitation, joint action plan in the field of tourism for the period 2019-2020.
In the 22 documents signed, member nations agreed to enhance solidarity and coordination deepen partnerships featuring peace, cooperation, equality, openness, inclusiveness and mutual benefit. The SCO was founded at a summit in Shanghai in 2001 by the presidents of Russia, China, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan. India and Pakistan became its full members last year. This is Vishal Daya's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi called for connectivity, unity and respect for sovereignty among the member countries of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. In his plenary address, the Prime Minister also stressed on the importance of people-to-people contact between the member countries.
Speaking at the plenary session of the 18th SCO summit in Shrinda on Sunday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi stressed on the importance of regional security and outlined his vision through acronym SECURE.
समग्र रूप से हमारे क्षेत्र को सिक्योर करने के लिए मेरे विचार से 6 महत्वपूर्ण आयाम है। इनका संक्षिप्त रूप अंग्रेजी का शब्द सिक्योर यानी SECURE होता है। एस से मेरा मतलब है सिक्योरिटी ऑफ आवर सिटीजन्स, ई से मेरा मतलब है इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट फॉर ऑल, सी से कनेक्टिंग द रीजन, यू से यूनाइटेड आवर पीपल, आर से रिस्पेक्ट फॉर सॉवरेनिटी एंड इंटीग्रिटी, ई से एनवायरमेंट प्रोटेक्शन। मैं मानता हूं कि इन दिशाओं में सार्थक सहयोग से ही हमारा SCO सही मायनों में सेफ एंड कनेक्टेड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बन सकेगा।
Prime Minister also highlighted the importance of linking the region with transport corridors and said, connectivity does not only mean geographical link, but it should ensure people-to-people contact. Without naming China's One Belt, One Road project, PM stressed on the need for respecting the territorial integrity and sovereignty of the states in such projects.
SCO क्षेत्र में हमारे पड़ोसियों के साथ कनेक्टिविटी भारत की प्राथमिकता है। हम ऐसे नए कनेक्टिविटी प्रोजेक्ट का स्वागत करते हैं जो समावेशी, सस्टेनेबल और पारदर्शी हो और जो देशों की संप्रभुता और क्षेत्रीय अखंडता का सम्मान करे। इस क्षेत्र में कनेक्टिविटी के लिए हमारी प्रतिबद्धता इंटरनेशनल नॉर्थ साउथ ट्रांसपोर्ट कॉरिडोर, चाबहार पोर्ट का विकास और अज़गाबाद एग्रीमेंट जैसे विशिष्ट प्रोजेक्ट्स में हमारी सक्रिय सहभागिता में दिखाई देती है।
On the issue of terrorism, PM Modi referred to Afghanistan as an unfortunate example of the effects of terrorism and urged all member states to help the war-ravaged country in rebuilding process.
हम सबकी यह जिम्मेदारी है कि विगत में जिन कारणों से अफगानिस्तान की एकता, अखंडता, संप्रभुता, विविधता और लोकतंत्र पर आंच आई है, उन्हें न दोहराया जाए। SCO के तत्वाधान में अफगानिस्तान के लिए कॉन्टैक्ट ग्रुप में भारत सक्रिय भूमिका निभाएगा।
Prime Minister also stressed on the need for giving a boost to the tourism sector and announced that India will organize a SCO Food Festival and Buddhist Festival.
The 18th SCO Summit is the first for India as a full-time member, and apart from connectivity and security in the region, Prime Minister Modi also highlighted the need for enhanced cooperation amongst the SCO member states and setting up of time-bound goals and periodic review of their delivery for optimum utilization of the regional forum. With camera person Sudhanshu Bhushan Sahu, this is Vishal Dahiya for Rajya Sabha TV in Qingdao, China.
Prime Minister Modi also held bilateral talks with the President of Kazakhstan on issues of mutual interest and asked him to join the International Solar Alliance. The International Solar Alliance is an initiative of the Modi government announced in 2015 to work for efficient exploitation of solar energy to reduce dependence on fossil fuels.
In the meeting with Kazakhstan, I think the focus, of course, was on India's participation at the SCO, plus more on the bilateral side. The sectors which were covered were, India's India and Kazakh working together in hydrocarbon sector. There was some discussion also on how to facilitate visa and travel of people between the two countries. PM also thanked Kazakhstan President for their support during the election of Justice Dalbir Bhandari. I think some discussion also took place on how to enhance the level of trade and investment which exists at this point of time. Kazakh President did mention that compared to previous year, the trade has gone up by 50%, and that was an encouraging sign.
Modi also held bilateral talks with leaders from Mongolia, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan and Tajikistan on the sidelines of the SCO summit. He also shook hands with Pakistani President Manmohan Hussain and exchanged pleasantries with him. On Saturday, Modi held talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping, during which they agreed to continue efforts to ensure peace and tranquility along the border. And staying with news from China, paper cutting is one of the most popular decorative Chinese handicrafts. It is popular for its low cost and artistry. Moreover, folk paper cutting conveys the content as well as nature of China's traditional culture with its own particular language. Our correspondent Vishal Daya met with some of the artists. Let's take a look.
What we can see here at the media center is an expression, or rather an example of the Chinese culture, several aspects of the Chinese culture, several arts here. One of them is the paper cutting art. What we see here is this old woman, an artist, is making these nice structures, nice pictures with the papers, and it is pretty much clear that this seems to be a very, very complex art here, and we can see a very long queue of the people standing here trying to get a piece of this, a clear indication that this seems to be very, very popular piece of art here. Let us try and speak to some people and figure out as to what exactly is she doing here. Can you please tell us what is this art all about?
Okay, this is Chinese paper cutting. It has a history of more than 1,500 years. It derives from Han Dynasty. At that time, before that time, paper was not common. We used to do this kind of work, like silk, gold, things like that. And after Han Dynasty, because of a man, his name is Cai Lun, he invented paper, so people can do this work. Paper become cheaper. Okay. Yeah. So that's how it has become clear. So it looks like it is a lot of history involved here. There is a lot of history involved in this, and clearly this kind of work and it involves a lot of intricacy. It involves a lot of patience as well, and we can see it has generated a lot of interest amongst the visitors here. A clear indication that this is one particular art which has not lost its relevance here in China. With camera person Sudhanshu, this is Vishal Dahiya for Rajya Sabha TV in Qingdao, China.
And back home, in its bid to attract talent from private sectors, the centre on Sunday invited applications for 10 joint secretary level posts in several departments through lateral entry. A circular was issued by the Department of Personnel and Training. As per the criteria fixed by the government, the applicant must be 40 years of age as on the 1st of July and a graduate from a recognised university. The posts for which the government has issued advertisements are revenue, financial services, economic affairs, agriculture, road transport, shipping, environment and forest, civil aviation and commerce. The selected individuals will be given 3-year contracts extendable to 5 years based on their performance. The joint secretary post is usually filled through exams conducted by the UPSC.
It is, I think, it's an endeavor to get the best from whichever source available. And Prime Minister Modi has led India on a path of development at a very rapid pace. and this is for the first time in the last 3-4 years, this number of path-breaking decisions have taken place in the area of governance. Like, for example, within 3-4 months of the government coming in, we did away with this age-old British legacy practice of getting certificates attested by the gazetted officers. That we allowed the youth to do self-attestation of their documents while applying for higher posts. Or then the interviews for the lower posts were abolished, so that youth coming from any background could have a level playing field. So I think this is all motivated with the focus on allowing every citizen of India a fair chance to ensure his or her growth depending on his or her potential, his or her capability, and also diligence.
According to latest media reports, absconding billionaire jeweler Nirav Modi has fled to the UK, where he is claiming political asylum. Quoting senior Indian and British foreign ministry officials, Japanese publication The Financial Times on Sunday reported that Nirav Modi is currently in London, where his company has one store and is trying to claim asylum from what he said was political persecution. Last month, the Enforcement Directorate filed a 12,000-page charge sheet in the court against Nirav Modi and 23 others under various sections of the Indian Penal Code, as well as the Prevention of Money Laundering Act in the over 13,000 crore rupees Punjab National Bank scam case. The cumulative loss of 19 government-run banks crossed a whopping 87,357 crore rupees in the 2017-18 fiscal, as per the latest quarterly numbers posted by these lenders. Punjab National Bank topped the list with a loss of nearly 12,283 crore rupees. The bank is reeling under 14,000 crore rupees scam allegedly perpetrated by Nirav Modi and associates. Out of 21 state-owned banks, only 2, Indian Bank and Vijaya Bank, posted profits during 2017-18. All 21 banks had together posted a net profit of 473.72 crore rupees in the 2016-17 fiscal. And the Reserve Bank of India in a report has claimed that 18.5 lakh crore rupees currency has reached the public. The RBI said that the currency is at a record high level, that is almost double to 7.8 lakh crore rupees it had post-demonetization in 2016. The report added that the total currency of 19.3 lakh crore rupees is in circulation by the RBI, that is doubled to post-demonetization record 8.9 crore rupees. The total money supply, described as M3 by the RBI, now stands at over 140 lakh crore rupees, which is nearly 11% higher than the year-ago level. The M3 includes currency with the public, deposit money of the public, and the time deposits with the banking system. It added that the report of money in circulation is recorded after deducting the cash present with the banks. On to some other news. Voting in Jayanagar Assembly constituency in Bengaluru is underway. The elections were deferred due to the death of BJP candidate B.N. Vijay Kumar. Counting will be held on the 13th of June. The BJP has nominated B.N. Vijay Kumar's younger brother B.N. Prahlad as its candidate, who is pitted against Soumya Reddy of the Congress, who is backed by the JDS. About 10% polling was recorded in Jayanagar Assembly segment till 9 a.m. Over 2 lakh voters are expected to cast their votes in about 216 polling booths in the Jayanagar constituency.
Voters of Jayanagar are actually very aware, very educated, and they're very responsible. They know each and every candidate, what work they have done and what work they have not done, how much of party work they have done. So that's why, I'm very sure that, that they're going to, pick the right candidate.
Up north, 6 terrorists were killed after security forces foiled an infiltration bid along the line of control in Kupwara district of Jammu and Kashmir on Sunday. Army officials said troops noticed suspicious movement in the Kairan sector of Kupwara district and challenged the infiltrators. He said 6 terrorists were killed in the ensuing gunfight. Search operations are now on in the area. This is the 4th infiltration bid since the centre announced Ramzan ceasefire on the 16th of May, and which has resulted in the death of 18 terrorists. The Home Ministry will hold a high-level meeting today to discuss the removal of malicious content from various social networking sites posted by keypad jihadis. The meeting will be chaired by Union Home Secretary Rajiv Gauba. The meet will discuss the implementation of the provisions of information technology on security agencies in dealing with the menace, which includes the filing of FIRs, removal of the malicious content at the earliest. Keypad jihadis reportedly spew venom on the internet, with an intent to create a law and order situation by spreading rumors. And news now from the weather front. At least 13 people have died in the last 48 hours after heavy rain lashed several parts of Kerala since the onset of the southwest monsoon. The Met Department has predicted strong winds across coastal Kerala in the next 24 hours, and fishermen have been warned not to venture into the sea. Meanwhile, the IMD has withdrawn heavy rainfall warnings in Mumbai, and the city will continue to receive few spells of rain in the next few hours. Light to moderate rain or thunder showers are also very likely in parts of coastal Karnataka, Goa and northeast India. But temperatures in the national capital remain warm and humid as the minimum temperature settled at 29.8 degrees Celsius. Heat wave conditions at one or two pockets over West Rajasthan continue, with day temperatures very likely to continue in the range of 42 to 44 degrees Celsius in the region. Let's now look at the weather conditions across the country. Moving on, the first batch of Kailash Mansarovar Yatra 2018 was today flagged off by Union Minister of State for External Affairs V.K. Singh. The minister also counselled pilgrims to remain physically fit and establish communion with nature to come out rewarded from the Yatra. Around 1,500 people were selected for the Yatra from 3,734 applications. There are two routes for the Yatra, through Lipulek Pass in Uttarakhand and through the Nathula Pass in Sikkim. The first batch, comprising 60 pilgrims, will reach Kailash Mansarovar via Lipulek. And news now from Afghanistan, where at least 15 security personnel were killed in a Taliban attack in the Kunduz province today. The attack comes only a day before the three-day ceasefire agreement between Afghanistani forces and Taliban for Eid. Meanwhile, security forces foiled another Taliban attack in the Jalalabad province. 4 attackers were killed by Afghan security forces after they attacked the education department in Jalalabad city. At least 14 people are reported to be injured. Both North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and US President Donald Trump have arrived in Singapore ahead of their historic planned summit on Tuesday. The two leaders are staying in separate hotels not far from each other. They are to meet on Tuesday on Sentosa Island, where talks on denuclearization of North Korea in exchange for economic help will be on the table. Ahead of the meet, North Korea said that their leader Kim Jong-un will discuss a permanent peacekeeping mechanism with Trump. The US wants North Korea to give up its nuclear weapons, but it's not clear what Pyongyang might want in return. The North Korean delegation to the talks includes Kim's close aide Kim Chang-son, who is already in Singapore to prepare for the summit. The US delegation includes Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, National Security Advisor John Bolton, and White House Chief of Staff John Kelly. The Trump-Kim summit will mark the first time a North Korean leader has met a sitting US president. The GS summit ended in acrimony, with US President Donald Trump lashing out at host Canada and retracting his endorsement of the joint statement. A war of words erupted between the US and its G7 allies hours after the group put an apparent show of unity at the end of the summit. The summit was dominated by disagreements, notably over trade. In recent weeks, trading partners of the US have criticized new tariffs on steel and aluminium imports imposed by the Trump administration. After the meeting, Trump also accused Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of acting meek and mild during the meetings, only to attack the US at a news conference. He tweeted that he acts hurt when called out. In fact, in a news conference after the summit, the Canadian leader reasserted his opposition to the US tariffs and vowed to press ahead with retaliatory moves on the 1st of July. Germany's Angela Merkel said Trump's decision to reject a joint communique was sobering and depressing. Bangladesh beat six-time champions India by 3 wickets to lift their maiden Asia Cup title at the Kinrara Stadium in Kuala Lumpur on Sunday. Winning the toss, Bangladesh sent India to bat first. The Indian batting lineup failed to live up to expectations and regular wickets from Bangladesh dented India's progress. Captain Harmanpreet Kaur scored a fighting 52 runs, which helped India put 112 runs on the board. Without the pressure of the scoreboard, Bangladesh openers began on a positive note. Harmanpreet Kaur bowled the last over, attempting to take India to victory, but was unable to defend the 113-run target. It is a historic victory for Bangladesh, as they not only lived their maiden title, but also beat India twice in this tournament, who were undefeated in the Asia Cup. Skipper Sunil Chhetri scored another brace as India thrashed Kenya 2-0 to clinch the Intercontinental Cup at the Mumbai Football Arena on Sunday. India triumphed over their opponents Kenya as captain Sunil Chhetri led the home team to victory. Kenya were unable to convert their chances into goals and conceded 2 goals to the Chhetri-led Blue Tigers. Chhetri's double strike capped a brilliant tournament, which saw him score 8 out of India's 11 goals in the tournament. And in the French Open, Rafael Nadal won his 11th French Open title after beating 7th seed Dominic Thiem in straight sets at the Roland Garros men's singles finals. Despite being the only man to beat Nadal on clay in the past 2 years, ranked number 8 Thiem failed to match his opponent's performance in a best-of-5. Nadal earned his 17th Grand Slam trophy, just 3 short of rival Roger Federer's all-time men's record of 20. In the women's singles, world number 1 Simona Halep won her first Grand Slam title after defeating US Open champion Sloane Stephens on Saturday. French duo Pierre-Hugues Herbert and Nicolas Mahut beat Oliver Marac and Mate Pavic to win the men's doubles titles. In the women's doubles, number 6 pairing Barbora Krejcikova and Katerina Siniakova won their first Grand Slam title. And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thanks for your time.